at this point, everyone's just trying so hard to look good. Everyone's just trying to have that image of cool guy, including myself. No worries, like I'm among you guys. Like I am among the crowd. I'm not the one who's trying to find his way to validate himself and not get entitled by other people's validation and recognitions. Of course, I've been isolating myself for a very long time, and I consider myself above average when it comes to discipline and self improvement, but it's not like I chose it to. I didn't choose to actually be better than ourselves, other people, and get fit my ego by doing it so that I can keep on going, like so that I have this purpose and I have reasoning as to why I'm not meeting others and why I have no social interactions at all, even though my first it's been at least what 3 to 4 months since my first semester started. So it's like crazy. Like I just realized how I've been thinking about why aesthetic works. So most of the times, so there are three phases of your life: aesthetic phase, ethic phase, moral phase, and religious phase, which I do not completely agree with my personal worldview. I feel like religious is just blindfolding yourself and going back to zero where you started, but just in different dimension. Let's say, if that makes sense. So I wouldn't 100% agree with this. Actually, this three phases of life this ideology is of Soren Kierkegaard's idea, which I'm reading one of his books, but it's extremely difficult, and I have to look for like specific terms every single pages, and it's hard. But I'm going through it, and I'll end up finish reading out all of them at the end, like one day. But my point is, the reason why aesthetic works, the reason why looking like most of the times when usually most of why the reason why most of people, including myself, go for the thing that looks cool, and especially males. I do not know if it's 100% truth, but men are visual creatures, like visual animals, let's say. So we are more often like inclined to, how do I say, attracted and appeal to looking good women's, like females, than females do to males. I personally think that female women can marry someone who's not sexually attractive at all, like for them or like objectively, but still they can pretend like they love, or like they can love them for not for what they are. Usually they have wealth or like other factors, let's say. But male, when it comes to male men, I think that it's extremely difficult to find a man who marries like who visualizes like an optimal partner as someone who's just actually kind, all the kind of like personality and stuff, and not say that she has to be hot, like, or she has to look pretty or beautiful, like I don't know, like it's hot, it's a factor, it's one of the things that men cannot just give up on. So that's why I think I really love this quote by Chris Williamson. He's one of my favorite podcaster, and I don't really watch him lately, but he said this one quote like, don't chase that beautiful girl that you have inside your head, that you build all the false images and romanticize how she actually is, which she's not. But like, just because she's pretty, you already fantasize how she would be. That girl, like these pretty girls, are just difficult to get. They are not worth achieving. Let's say, like they are not worth chasing. Just in general, like girls are. I personally think that chasing girls, it's just the most ridiculous and foolish thing to do, but also I can understand them. It's not like I justify the action, but we all, like, I don't know if for women, since I'm not among them, we all men can agree that we do understand the feeling of wanting to chase a girl who's extremely beautiful, and I feel like it's kind of human nature in general, but it's um I'd say for men it's more amplified. Let's say, like, it's harder for us to just give that up. So so like the point is, the reason why aesthetic works, just in general, the reason why we want to do something that looks cool in the first place, like that's our primitive and verse. It's like very first, like one dimensional thought, is because first it looks cool. Like if I consider it looks cool and you consider it looks cool, and objectively, like for the majority of people it looks cool, then it's cool, okay. At least by doing so, like if I achieve that, no matter what, no matter the cost, no matter the consequences, I will be able to look cool at least. Like you have this guaranteed thing. And I think it all comes down to, again, related to uncertainty, how we humans hate sitting on uncertainty. Like it's like our nature. Like we would rather imagine something much worse, like 100 times worse than what actually than sitting with uncertainty. Like we hate uncertainty that much. So again, like if okay, this person who you don't know who you don't know, who you never talked with, who you don't know, like who is like a complete stranger, just comes to you, and let's say like you have a decent conversation with this person, but you don't know what she or he is hiding. Like we all are hiding, we all are wearing this facade, a mask in front of others, but it's like it's really difficult to get into, like actually know what she or this person is about. And it takes much longer time to know what this person is, how this person, like what the worldview of this person is, and if it aligns with mine. And if this person's not gonna, okay, here's another quote that I thought of lately. I know I kind of like sidetracked there, but find someone who will not starve you in recognition and validation. Again, like you need to find someone who's not going to starve you in recognition and validation, which means like, and if you can, again, about looks, you have to, like, obviously everyone in front of a camera or in front of, I don't know, their friends, family. I don't know if you can be that honest with yourself, but everyone says nowadays that, like, oh, I prioritize personality. He has to, or she has to, my partner has to be intelligent, or like, like the kind of things that aren't superficial, so that you don't look like a vain, you don't look like vain, stuff like that. Or like someone just blatantly say, like, openly be honest with themselves and say, looks matter. Like it's just obviously true. The looks maxing community whole thing is around that. And I'm not saying like you should completely give up on looks at all, because even if you do, let's say you are a 6 out of 10 guy or 7 out of 10 guy, let's just say that. I know we shouldn't judge someone, we shouldn't rate like a person by their appearance, but let's just say that, let's just say you are 7 out of 10. Even if you do your best, you actually practice, you talk to all the girls who are below you, but like below you in appearance level, let's say, in your perspective, and like you talk to all those girls and you genuinely try to separate that, and like you try to talk with them and try to see them as a sexual partner, let's say, like, you're not going anywhere below like 2 levels. I'm sure, I can guarantee that if you are 7 out of 10, you're not going to even consider going for someone who's like 4. Like seriously, I think that's like just our human nature. Like we cannot, it's like out of our imagination. You cannot actually do it. Even if you try it, like you're gonna go like, oh, but seriously, man, like that's just, I cannot, like it's out of my league, like in a really bad way. So even if you actually try to not care about look, you will. Like I'm not saying like you don't, you shouldn't, you should completely ditch that part of you. What I'm trying to say is, I think we all, like, the reason why aesthetic work is deeply related with uncertainty. If going to the gym and get jacked will clearly make me look better, and like that's something that's guaranteed. But let's say reading lots of books, it's like, yeah, it's gonna guarantee you will sound, you'll articulate yourself much better, you'll talk much better. I mean, they're both the same thing, but you will be able to expand your vocabulary. You have much of a lot of more, like a lot more knowledge, let's say. But it's not something that you can show off. It's not the kind of talent like looks, something that looks cool and sounds cool. It's not like you can you have to explain, and it's like very difficult to let others know. And first, the reason why that's important is because we need validations from others. Like, even if you're an introvert, I'm an introvert, and as I said in the beginning of this video, that I have no friends at all. My entire life, I don't know if you watch me or this is your first video of mine, but my entire life has been just me thinking with, sitting with this all the thoughts that I have in my head and doing the stuff, self improvement, all the kind of things, monk mode, isolation, whichever may you call it. I've been there. I am still there, but I still am aware that for a consciousness to fully develop, we need another consciousness. It's non-debatable. Like, you need it. You need another person, and you clearly know that deep inside you. Even if you are this, you want to like take, I don't know, you're in this like defensive mode, as I was when I was in my high school. I genuinely thought like, love is futile, all the kind of stuff, but it's impossible. Like, once the opportunity is given to you, you will take it. You will fold instantly. That's just how our nature is, and it's not weakness. You gotta just embrace it, admit the fact that you need others, another consciousness for validation. But the important part is when you go to the extreme, like when you leave, just for the sake of validation and recognition from others, that's when it comes really dangerous. Like, you solely depend on other people's opinion, who most likely you don't even like, because we actually don't even know what our actual preferences. Most of the times, these preferences of ours are shaped by the society, and usually you just say the things that might sound good. Like, I don't know, like maybe you say something like, "Oh, it'd be great if she's like I don't know, 5'1". No, is 5'1" too short? I actually around like 150 centimeters, let's say. I don't know in freedom unit, but let's just say that, like, all the kind of things. I hope she's not that fit, like not that fat, but fit. I hope her personality is like this and that. Introvert. I hope she spends lots of time in gaming, or the kind of things. But in reality, I don't know. I always thought that I personally liked shorter girls. And the moment I found someone, I don't know, like there's this beautiful lady like a couple of months ago. I saw her and she was really tall. She was like 170, but I'm like 6'1". Yeah, 6'1" is like 185, right? Yeah, so I'm 6'1". So like around that height is still fine, and like, wow, that's she's so beautiful. And there was another lady who like next to her who was shorter, but like she was definitely cuter. Like, she was more of my type when it comes to face. But I immediately, kind of like, if I were to choose, obviously I didn't have opportunity to, but like if I were to choose, I would have gone for the taller woman, a taller girl. So like at that moment I realized I like taller girls, but like obviously it might be different in different situations. And so my point of this video is just in general is I'm just breaking down why aesthetic works every single time, because we are these simple animals who who hates sitting with uncertainty. So we have to like kind of guarantee to our brain, like tell ourselves that if you go through all this, you will at least get that thing, since it's just looks, since it's like guaranteed, you can already see it. Okay, that looks cool. If I do it, I can also look cool. Period. And also about like knowledge and like internal personality and kind of stuffs are very vague. Most of the times they change. They just like we humans change. I feel like we all change every single 6 months, in my opinion. Some say 5, 10, but I feel like we all change every single 6 months. Not like dramatically, but you can already tell like the past 6 months. Let's just say about you look at yourself 6 months before, you have so many things to tell him or tell her, like the new habits that you've been working on. Let's say the things that you are working on right now, you feel like you've been working on that thing for years, but it's only been like 6 months, or like at best 1 year. Like most of the times, I don't know, like for me, I feel like I've been hitting gym for like at least a couple of years, but it's only been 6 months, 6 or like 7, maybe. Anyways, like yeah, 7 to 8, whatever. But you get my point. So like internal things, the personality, obviously me doesn't change. My identity is still there, but the outer circles that are really even like these are already hard to see by others, how to be seen by others. We need a very long time of deep relationship, lots of deep talks, conversations day after, like it needs a lot of all the kid and caboodles, and like it needs a lot of a lot of things and a long process. And they shape, they change. Sometimes this person lies and you don't even know what this person is about. So like at the end you're like, oh fuck it, I'm not doing this, like this is rigged. Like everyone's just lying, everyone's straightforward, just making this false personality that isn't even theirs to come up with. So I'm just gonna prioritize looks. At least, if that person, all the same kind of humans, and we are all cooked, we are all sinned. Let's say everyone makes mistakes, then I'm just gonna go for the ones who are beautiful, who are very good looking, like on top of my level. Let's say I'm 6, then I'm gonna look for 7, or 6.5 at least, so that at least I got something. I at least have something to tell. Like at least my partner is beautiful or handsome. And I don't know, like the reason why I said I'm among the crowd, even though I've been telling myself that all of these kinds are very futile. Like it's superficious, ostentatious. It's pretentious. I hate it. But I always get the kind of feeling. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be very honest with myself in this video about like whenever I see a very beautiful girl, I talk with them, or like I don't know. I ask their Instagram or things like that. Like I wish that I can like have a long term relationship with them instead of someone that I met multiple times at my school, who's part of in my group. Who if I could, let's say, like if I actually wanted to, I can make this relationship like much easier. Let's say, like since we are in the same school group, and the accessibility of the time, and like we can spend much more time together. Like it's much an easier path objectively. But I wouldn't. I never even thought of going for that person instead of someone that I met randomly. Like it's such an awkward situation, even, and you gotta have this courage. Like you just gotta like fuck it. I'm just going, and you gotta like it's unfair sometimes. It's really unfair. I know it since I'm the one who's like I understand it because I also am that kind of person. So I think that's also one of the reasons why people who are not like relatively attractive or on the bottom side, on the bottom percentage of the looks maxing, or like whatever, like the kind of thing is like the reason why they are more spiteful. I think it's because also in the middle class, or like people who are very insecure about their looks, the reason why they seem extremist is because they also are part of these people who they say that it doesn't matter. Like they would call out these people who only care about looks maxing, or like who only care about looks and appearance. The reason why they are very spiteful and like blaming them is because they also know the truth. But if they were in that spot, they are gonna be the same. Like I'm not saying I'm not normalizing. There clearly are people out there who don't care about those kind of things. I truly believe that because I've seen numerous like decent amount of people, but clearly are minorities, and I don't even know them like deeply enough to the point if I can actually say that it's they are showing their true self or not. So we'll never know that. But yeah, like I personally do believe, I feel like they do exist, and I think it's just better way to kind of live your life, like just believing that they exist, and it's going to be extremely difficult, but you got to keep on giving lots of shots. Same goes for friendships. Like there clearly are people out there who can be your soulmates. Like seriously, a soulmate, like a friendship of virtue that Aristotle said. Someone you can genuinely feel each other, and like it's not about like pleasure, like not pleasure of like sexual pleasure, but more like you are not giving this to get their attention. Like you guys know each other, you know their personality, and you love their character, and they love you back, your character, and the kind of relationship that I think everyone, including me, has to have in their life, at least one in their life. And yeah, that really is about it in this video, that how aesthetic, as much as I hate to say, but I think it's kind of a loophole, let's say, or a trap that's so easy and kind of very um, related to our human nature like fundamentally. So it's extremely hard to get out. Yeah, that really is about it in this video. Thank you for watching or listening.